Hello, welcome to the Rich and Simple Living. My name's Maria and today we're taking a trip to Kedleston Hall in Derbyshire. I'll just tell you a little bit about it. Kedleston Hall is a seat of the Curzon family, although it's now owned by the National Trust, but there is a part of the hall that the Curzon family do live in, apartments. The house was commissioned in 1759 by Nathaniel Curzon and it was designed by Robert Adam. The Curzons have been in Kedleston since about 1297, living in various manor houses close to the present hall. On the death of Richard Curzon in 1799, the property was transferred to the National Trust by Richard's cousin Francis Curzon, who had become heir to the property, and he couldn't afford the expenses that came with it, which was the case with a lot of the big houses. So, like I said earlier, members of the Curzon family do currently live in a 23-room apartment. And they had set up a deal with the National Trust so the family could do that. The house is very grand, as you can see. It's designed to impress. It swings to me between a feel of ancient Greece and Rome. It also has a museum with many Far Eastern items which pertain to George Curzon, who was the second, who had served, I should say, as the second Viceroy of India. It's a very beautiful house. I mean, they say when you walk in, the most stunning part visitors like is the great big hall that looks with all the columns, I'll get my words right, and it looks a bit like a Roman feel, Greek Roman feel, and they say most visitors are impressed with that. To me, I was most impressed with the blue rooms. The blue and the gold together were beautiful, really beautiful. But I was talking to the curator and she said it was definitely designed to impress. It didn't have a very family feel about it. It was more opulence and, you know, what visitors they could have. In fact, on one of the walls there was a picture of an Elizabethan looking lady who was like the school teacher type person to, I think it was Elizabeth I, and they had the pictures on the wall of that just to sort of make people feel they've got connections. They like people to feel they've got connections to royalty. They were trying to make connections, so they were out to impress. This is the hall that most people are impressed by. It is very beautiful, it is very nice, but like I say, the blue rooms were the ones that did it for me. See, yeah, it is very nice though. As I was saying, the house it still actually does have the thing to impress people and that opulence about it. It doesn't have a very family orientated feel to it, although there is one of the pictures, as I was saying, on the wall of the Curzons and their son Nathaniel as a child, and there's a little angel above it, and apparently the little angel represents their son John, who was their firstborn and had died. So that was the one thing that sort of made me think, oh, family. They did think about the one they'd lost, and you know, that was the only thing where I got a family feel from it, but the rest is all, you know, grandeur and opulence and everything. But it is a really nice hall. They couldn't afford to finish the hall. They did have grand designs to go further with it, but they couldn't afford to finish it and they ran out of money. So these are the rooms I liked. I liked the blue and the gold, but the curator lady I was talking to wasn't so keen on that. She thought it was a bit much, but I thought it was beautiful. I was really taken by that. And the ceilings. The ceilings remind me like of iced cakes. Really beautiful. The one thing I was disappointed with, there's no servants' quarters, and I asked them about that and they looked at me puzzled and they said, well, where are the original kitchens? Because I like to go into kitchens and the working areas of these houses, and the original kitchens has now turned into a restaurant, and the servants' quarters upstairs are now National Trust offices. So I was a bit disappointed in that, because I think if you're going to see somewhere like this, you want to see all the workings, because it's the servants that make it all tick over, and you want to see the areas where they worked, because it gives you an idea of how well they were looked after, because some families, they didn't look after the servants very well, whereas others treated them almost like they were part of the family. They were, you know, very different, some families were. So I'd like to see that. So I was disappointed in that. But this is beautiful. I absolutely love this room. Just didn't like the carpet in the middle. Didn't suit it. I think if I changed anything, it would be the carpet. But yeah, we'll be showing you in a moment. We'll be going to a church. It's got a church on the grounds. Apparently there was a little village there. But when they went to build the mansion house, they moved the few houses. Said there was about 8 houses, the creator told me, that were part of the village then, and they moved them further away. But they did leave the church because they thought it'd be bad luck to move a church. So the church is right, almost joined onto the house right next to it, which you'll see in a moment. I'll let you enjoy some of these pictures. We're now in the museum looking at some of the pieces that was brought in from the Far East. Some really nice pieces. I wasn't sure what all of them were. Even when I did read the labels, I wasn't sure what all of them were. But they've got a whole room that's made as a museum full of these pieces. Some really nice bits and pieces. I always like to see shoes. You know, when you go in these museums and you see the old shoes and I think, wow, how small their feet were. I mean, I've got quite big feet. I've got size 8 feet. So these shoes all look really small and dainty when you go in these museums. They're really nice. And now some of these pieces are carved out as well. So intricate. And they look so nice. I have to excuse some of the reflections because with it being behind glass, some of the pictures did reflect a bit. I tried to get as close as possible, but it did reflect a bit on some of them. We're getting to some ivory pieces now. And although, like, I think it's quite cruel and all that, but this is before all the bans were out. It is banned now, but obviously this was a long time before all that happened. But the pieces are amazing. How it's carved out is amazing. I mean, little figures and things like that. I mean, I could never do that. I couldn't carve on anything, I don't think. These all miscellaneous bits of jewellery and bits of things. Never looks the same on pictures as when you're actually there and you're looking at it. It always looks so much brighter when you're looking at something with your eye than on a picture. Going into the stables now. I like going into stables and gardens and things like that. They fascinate me. And now they've got the names of the horses that they had, some of their best horses. Got some lovely gardens. In fact, it was really warm, and well, the last time I came it was really warm and you could sit out in the sun. It's not been so warm this year. It's really nice, everywhere's so green. I think that's one good thing about all the road we've had. It's very green. So now we've come to the church. The one thing here, all the gravestones are flat. There's none that stand up, they're all flat. It's not a very big church, it's just a little church. But inside, apart from the nice windows, they've got a lot of obituaries and the burials of some of the Curzon family members. See, like here, and there's a lot of like things like this on the wall. It's a very small church and it feels a bit hemmed in because it's got all of this stuff in there. But yeah, it's sort of very grand. Even the church and the memorials of and burials of all the family members makes it all seem very grand. Even in death, they're very grand. But it's a nice little church. But like I say, it feels smaller because it's got all of these sort of statues and memorials in it. They've got some nice stained windows. And there's a picture there, and you can see it's, I'm not sure what it is, like two heads or bodies in there. I'm not really sure what it is. There's like two heads. I don't know if there's stone effigy heads. I did read it. But it was a bit spooky, that end. I felt a bit not good, that end. I soon came away from there. Soon came out the church. So there's just some pictures. And they've got all the deck chairs. We did sit in a deck chair. It's quite a nice place just to sit at the back, take our sandwiches and watch and sit. So anyway, I'll let you enjoy the rest. Thank you for watching and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.